Hello, fellow truthers. I'm David Ravel, and this is Value Sign for Tuesday, March 8. For all of our articles and podcasts, visit valuesign.com. Well, today, Ukraine exposes America's weakness. Just ahead. Well, have you ever met a millionaire junkie? They're an interesting combination of extreme arrogance and vulnerability. Arrogance in that they presume no one sees their addiction, that they are smart enough to hide any weakness from view. And yet they do have this terrible weakness, this drug that they simply cannot live without. Take away that drug, and they become a quivering, snivering lump of humanity, unable to function until they get their next hit. I hate to say it, and I don't mean to be cruel, but the United States of America, as a country, has an addiction, and I'm afraid that this conflict in Ukraine is exposing our addiction for all the world to see. Our addiction can be seen, like most junkies, in the way we spend money. We have no budget, no limit to the amount of money we spend. Last year we set the all-time world record for this kind of spending, $1 trillion. That's right, only 16 countries on Earth, and there's 195 countries at last count, but only 16 of them have an economy as large as the amount of money the U.S. spends for its habit. Think of that. We spent last year in our net imports more than 179 countries have in total income. We spent all that money on goods imported from overseas, goods that we will not or cannot make ourselves. Now, a lot of those goods are basically frivolous, like those plastic doodahs and gadgets that you can find at the dollar store or Walmart. If we lost those, I don't think it would be a big deal. But some of the things that we buy from others we literally can't live without. Lose those, and our lifestyle changes dramatically. You know what I'm talking about. We've seen it in all the headlines of late. Gas prices astronomical because there simply isn't enough to meet our demand. And we are reliant on others to supply the gas that we simply choose not to produce. Oh, it's not that we cannot produce our own gas, it's that we choose not to, and thereby we become reliant on others. Ukraine showed us that. According to Jen Psaki, the president's press secretary, we now import 10% of the gas that we need to run this country, and we import it from Russia. But Russia is threatening to cut us off. Our pusher is walking out. And like any addict, we're going to find that this withdrawal is very, very difficult. As I pointed out yesterday, gas here in Pennsylvania is approaching $4 a gallon, while out in California and Hawaii, it's nearly $5 a gallon in some locations. And what so many are missing is that gasoline is a vital resource for this country's economy to operate at full capacity. Price gas too high, and not only will people limit their driving, but so will some shipping and delivery services. While the Greens might see this as positive, I don't think the average consumer, who's already caught in the midst of this energy-driven inflation, I don't think the consumer is going to be very happy about all this. I'm sure they don't think it's such a great deal. Now, there's another vital resource that Russia supplies to America, fertilizer. This is a byproduct of their petroleum industry and a necessary ingredient into the superabundance of our farmland. Cut back on fertilizer, and you have a very direct cutback on crop production, something that's sure to get everyone's attention come next harvest season in the fall. All of this portrays just what an ill-conceived strategy this Russian embargo is. When your economy is so weak that you cannot supply your population with the goods they need to maintain their lifestyle, you don't go picking a fight with the very people who supply you those goods needed to maintain that lifestyle. But that's just what President Biden and his administration have done. It's utter insanity. And yet it's one of the principal characteristics of the millionaire junkie. Well, Stock futures are climbing this morning, but there's been some real interesting moves so far in the month. Both the NASDAQ and Russell 2000 have now declined 20% from their highs. This is the traditional mark of a bear market, while both Facebook and vax maker Moderna are down 50% from their highs. In overnight economic news, China began the latest session of their National People's Congress, while both Germany and Italy reported increases in their industrial production. Here in the U.S., we're just 1 week away from the next Federal Reserve Open Market Committee meeting. At that meeting, Chairman Powell has indicated that the Fed will raise interest rates. Hard to believe against this background of market weakness and war. In earnings this morning, a couple of specialty companies, first up MongoDB, that's a document-based database company, and then Olgaplex Holdings, a science-based beauty company. Also reporting will be Guidewire Software and Dick's Sporting Goods. And that's the value side for this Tuesday, March the 8th. For all of our podcasts and blog posts, visit valueside.com. I'm David Ravel. ValueSide is independently written and researched. The views expressed are strictly my own.